Hello, my nerds and nerdettes. This is the return of the MCRU with Phase 2, The Rise of a Nihilist. So basically, the first movie will be Captain America, New World Order, with the main villain being Arnim Zola, and we'd get like World War II flashbacks instead. Chris Evans is Captain America, as always. Emily Van Camp as Sharon Carter. Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury. Clark Gregg as Phil Coulson. Toby Jones as Arnim Zola. And in the World War II flashbacks, we see Sebastian Stan as Bucky Barnes. And Hugo Weaving as Red Skull. So basically, the first, half of the first act would show the death of Red Skull and Bucky Barnes. And for the rest of the movie, Cap not only has to still be adjusting as a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, he'd be wearing, the stealth suit, but he'd also be working with Sharon Carter to stop Arnim Zola from destroying the U.S. income to take over the United States, because he has figured out that if the U.S. does not have income, they cannot make weapons to defeat him. So he's going after the income. He's being a smart villain for once, and not just deciding to make a giant army. Anyway, Cap would defeat Zola by using old guerrilla war tactics, as Zola's body would be all clanky and picture the Mark I Iron Man suit. That's with a giant screen showing a science dude in the front. That's basically his armor, all clanky and stuff. Kind of futuristic, but he's very clanky. That's why he has a bunch of random robots that are more futuristic that he built when he was in a suit. Yeah. And at the end, Cap would leave S.H.I.E.L.D. and join the Avengers. The next movie would be The Dawn of the Fantastic Four with Doctor Doom as the main villain. And they'd wear white and blue suits because honestly, I prefer white and blue, not black and blue. Anyway, Bryan Cranston is Doctor Doom in my Marvel universe. Let's go, boys. Anyway, same cast as the last movie. Reed Richards is played by Keanu Reeves. John Cena is The Thing. Ryan Gosling's The Human Torch. Melissa Benoist is Invisible Woman. Millie Alcock is Valeria Richards. And Tom Holland is, Franklin Richards. So basically, Doctor Doom would want revenge on Reed for what happened in the space mission. And before they get their first big fight with Doctor Doom, as teased in the post-credit scene of the first movie, Franklin and Valeria would show Sue that Franklin has powers, and over the movie they'd keep showing everyone else, somewhere in the movie, before the final act. And also, in the last movie, Johnny and Ben were butting heads. They're more of a duo and working together, rock and fire, earth and fire. Yeah. And the Four's first big fight with Doctor Doom, they lose immaculately. They got put on a t-shirt. They were destroyed. And so that puts a bunch of fear, and that would be another subplot for the movie. When Franklin volunteers to fight Doom as his powers can match Doom's magic. And Sue and Reed would have to deal with that because they couldn't beat Doctor Doom. Oh god, their son definitely can. Oh god, if they couldn't, their son couldn't. But surprise, surprise, Franklin would win by sending Doom to a place he found long ago, known as the Negative Zone. Because Franklin has had his powers since he was a kid. And he found the Negative Zone. And he's figured that since there's no life, there's no way that Doom could return. But yeah, in a post-credit scene, we'd see a guy in a blue and red spider costume saving a bus from crashing. The next movie is Black Panther. And sadly, Chadwick Boseman would not be Black Panther. As I'm not a sorcerer, I can't change reality to fit this. Chadwick Boseman would sadly die of cancer, of sickness still. And so I'm deciding for this, I'm casting Michael B. Jordan as the Black Panther. And he would wear a more comic-accurate suit, just so you know. Something more like this and not what they actually had. Anyway, so Michael B. Jordan is Black Panther. And the main villain, Namor, is played by Tenoch Huerta. I can't pronounce his name. The same guy who played him in the movie, I think. I kind of forgot. Anyway, Lupita Nyong'o as Storm. That's right, Storm is in the movie. And as in the normal MCU, Letitia Wright as Shuri, Danai Gurley as Okoye, Alex Levinelli as Atuma, and Mabel Condena as Namora. So in other words, the last two are these guys, and the first two are those guys, obviously. Anyway, Black Panther and Okoye would find a woman T'Challa's age named Aurora Monroe, aka Storm, who has the powers to control the weather as she's a mutant. That's right, the mutants are still a thing at the beginning in this. Anyway, Atlantis would consider Wakanda a threat as they are the only city that could match Atlantis. And Atlantis wants to, take over the world because humanity's a threat. Gotta take him out. Wakanda and Atlantis would go to war, and it would end with Namor, in order to save his people, surrender to Black Panther. Basically, Atlantis would, be on the brink of, massacre, to becoming from a war to a massacre. So Namor, he cares about his people. So he would, quit. He all right, you win, I give up. We'll be allies, okay? I just don't kill my people. Yeah. It would also be mentioned that T'Challa's father was killed by a man named Ulysses Claw. In a post-credit scene, Aurora would be asked by Charles Xavier to join a team of people with extraordinary abilities like her, and she would agree. Charles Xavier was. The next movie is The Amazing Spider-Man. Chameleon would be the main villain. And now it's time to reveal who's Chameleon, which is Pedro Pascal. What, you thought I was going to reveal the Spider-Man right now. Anyway, Spider-Man's actually going to be played by Andrew Garfield. I feel like he was, cheated out of his universe in the real world, so in here, it would be, a better version of The Amazing Spider-Man with, Chameleon as the villain. Yeah. Anyway, Emma Stone as Gwen Stacy. Dan DeHaan as Harry Osborn. He would not go Goblin. He would stay human as a human the whole movie. Christian Bale as Norman Osborn. And Bokeem Woodman as Shocker. Spider-Man would be hunted by Chameleon, who would mention that him and his brother were going to come hunt him together, but Chameleon decided to come early to prove himself to his father as the better hunter of his sons. Because, you see, we'd get a Chameleon subplot, where we see that Chameleon and his brother were always competing over who was the better hunter in front of their father. And Chameleon would always lose, because his brother, Craven, was stronger and more capable. So Chameleon created tech and decided to come to New York to hunt Spider-Man early when they got an anonymous tip. Chameleon would kill Harry Osborn in front of Peter and Norman before being brought to prison. Because see, in the final act, just like in the Spectacular Spider-Man, Harry is kidnapped by Chameleon. But in this universe, Harry is killed by Chameleon. I know. No more Harry. Oh God, what are we gonna do? It's not like that's gonna put Norman Osborn in anything. That's not teasing anything. That's not teasing anything. Yeah. Anyway. This Norman would care for his son and blame Spider-Man for letting Harry die. Because this Norman is a good father. At the end, Peter and Gwen would start dating, and Peter would get a job at the Daily Bugle to help Aunt May with money, because money problems. And also, Aunt May, I don't really care who you cast. Just think of any person who you think could be Aunt May, and just pretend that that's them. Yeah. The final project that we'll talk about for this part will be X-Men, Mutant Protectors. Angel is replaced with Wolverine, and there will be some other characters. Magneto is the main villain. So Wolverine is played by Hugh Jackman, Henry Cavill as Cyclops, Patrick Stewart as Charles Xavier, Lupita Nyong'o as Sue Storm, not Sue Storm, just Storm, Donald Glover as Beast, Jessica Chastain as Jean Grey, Aaron Taylor Johnson as Havoc, Zoe Kravitz as Kitty Pryde, Ian McKellen as Magneto. The X-Men, and for the main plot, the X-Men try to stop Magneto from killing the president for for hosting public mutant executions on the island known as Krakoa. Ooh, we're getting dark with this movie. Kitty Pryde would act like Rogue from the original X-Men movies as the newest and youngest member, and will join in the first act of the movie. So basically, Kitty would be the person that will use to introduce the X-Men. And it would end with the X-Men succeeding and the president stopping public mutation execution and Krakoa being liberated. And there is no post-credit scene. Basically, yeah, the X-Men helped the president, and the president realizes, oh my gosh, mutants aren't that bad, and stops the stuff. He stops it all, and Krakoa gets liberated. Guys, oh my gosh. Yeah, that's gonna be it for this video, but the next project will be Nova the Human Rocket. But yeah, that's basically it for this part of phase 2 of the MCRU. And peace.